Can we start off this video by having a quick chat about the time period after Halloween and before Christmas Day? For me, it's like a free-for-all for shopping. I get really crazy at that time of the year. Not that I need an excuse to shop. I'm a fan of retail therapy. I don't hide it. I enjoy shopping, and it really doesn't matter what I'm shopping for. Like, it's like a sport for me. But about this time of year, in early November, the Sephora sale starts. I happen to be a Rouge member, so I get the little measly 20% off, and it sparks like this frenzy of shopping. I plan for it starting like mid-October to late October. I start to fill my cart with everything under the sun that I probably don't need. And that just kind of sparks this whole shopping thing for myself, for family, for friends. So yeah, here we are with more fragrances to share. I'm not gonna read notes or anything like that. I'm actually just gonna challenge myself to describe the fragrance. So this is going to be pretty much a first impressions video, just sharing with you what I think of the fragrance, what I get from it. There are a few of these that I have worn or tested like on my hands or whatever for the evening. So I'll share with you my impressions of longevity and all of that. We're going to kick this off with 3.5 fragrances from the house of Nicolai from Russia. I got a sample set from the house, attended a master class, learned a lot about the fragrances, and really enjoyed a lot of them and purchased 3.5. So let's get into that. The first one is called Kiss Me Intense. So Kiss Me Intense is a really soft, feminine fragrance. It smells like clouds, what I imagine clouds would smell like. A little bit of maybe some marshmallow in there or something that smells like a marshmallow note. I even detect a little bit maybe of citrus and perhaps a nutty accord. Kind of like a cozy sweater weather type of fragrance. Kiss Me Intense, really soft, close to the skin. One that I would probably enjoy wearing here in the winter as a daytime fragrance or a watch movies and chill kind of scent. Very marshmallowy with maybe like, is there some lemon in here or something like that? Something a little zingy in the background, but mostly like a cloudy, powdery, fluffy marshmallow kind of fragrance. Kiss Me Intense. And next is Baikal Leather Intense, named after the body of water in Russia. Lake Baikal, I think it's a lake. This is a beautiful, clean line leather fragrance with, I think there's maybe some iris in here or something like that that's giving it almost like a stone cold feeling. It's a cold fragrance. It comes across dry to me versus warm and spicy. There's very little to any warmth in here. It's cold, it's gray, it's leather, and I like it. I like that it's linear and clean. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have a really warm and spicy fragrance, Cuba Incense, which also has a leather accord, but it reminds me a lot of the nightclubs in Cuba, in Havana, when I went down there to visit. There's that heavy smell of tobacco smoke in the air. This isn't smoky, but you get the tobacco part of it, like a wet tobacco leaf. And something boozy in here, like a cognac or a rum type of note. Maybe even something that's kind of like plum. A really intense fragrance. Cuir Cuba reminds me very much of the scent at like a cigar bar mixed with heavy spirits and liquor. Beautiful. Not for everyone. This is a very, I think, masculine fragrance, as is the Baikal Leather, whereas the Kiss Me Intense is a highly girly feminine scent. And then my half fragrance, hear me out here before you judge. It's called Maharajah, and it is actually a room spray. But as I learned in the master class, and the reason I bought the room spray is because the place that I bought it from only had this. They didn't have the perfume version of this. What I learned is you can actually spray room spray on yourself. It's just a lower concentration of the fragrance, and maybe has more alcohol in it, but it's perfectly safe for your skin. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but I promise you that is what I was told. And that's what I believe. And I've sprayed this on and had no problems. This smells very much like a fragrance I want to wear around Thanksgiving or even Christmas, the holidays. It smells like baked fruit, like when you bake pears in the oven and it gets really like caramelized. Imagine that with pumpkin pie spice on it mixed together. It's a very like kitchen spice and fruity fragrance. There's something super edible about this. There's a little bit of tartness in there too, almost like some like fried apples. Fried apples are sweet, but you still get the tartness if they're like Granny Smith apples that you fried. Really neat fragrance. Maharajah, that's my half, because maybe we can't call this a fragrance. We're not supposed to know that we're able to wear it, but you can wear it. Maharajah. Then I have the only one Incense, but I really wanted the only one. You know, this is interesting. So I have tried this many times in Ulta. Here's the thing when you are fragrance shopping and you're sampling a lot of fragrances, your nose gets super tired and you almost don't even know what you're smelling anymore. And something that you would normally like, you're like fatigued or something as you're trying it in the store and you pass it by. This is one that I've smelled plenty of times in Ulta and thought, that's really quite a boring fragrance. I don't know why anyone likes it. But I took a chance and put it on my wish list. Sister got it for me. And I'm really glad that I did. This smells completely different here at home than in Ulta, where I can take my time really getting to know it. And it's not competing with 300 other fragrances that I'm frantically sampling. This smells very fruity to me. I think there's supposed to be a coffee note in here. Do I smell coffee? Maybe. There's something a little bitter in the background, but fruity and a little hint of bitter. But also this softness. There's something maybe musky or powdery about this. I find it soft, a really soft, light fragrance, mostly heavy on that fruity, like tart note. The only one, Dolce & Gabbana. Speaking of coffee fragrances, I picked up Nitro Coffee from Demeter. I have a number from this house. If you're not familiar with Demeter, some people say Demeter. I've always heard it called Demeter, so that's what I'm going with. This is a whole library of fragrances in the cologne concentration. So they're pretty light for the most part, although some tend to last on me quite a while. And they all are like these one-note wonders. Well, maybe they're not all one note, but they're a one theme thing. Like I have one called, is it Thunderstorm? I have one called Caribbean Sea, Wet Rain. Was it Wet Rain? That sounds stupid. Rain is wet, Veronica. Rain is wet. I did this in another video. I talked about Wet Rain. What's wrong with me? Wet Garden is the one that I'm thinking of. This is exactly what it sounds like. This reminds me a lot of Coffee Break by Theodoros Kalatinis. So if you're looking for that and can't find it, you may want to try this Nitro Coffee. It gives you the exact same deal. It's a really heavy, like almost like an espresso coffee with a little bit of sweetness and softness, maybe something caramel like in there, some other sweet note, maybe some brown sugar, something like that. And I love it. Next is one I heard Adriana DC talking about. She is into Middle Eastern fragrances like I am, and she talked about Mahir Black by Lattafa. This bottle, I don't know if it's a brilliant idea or like the tackiest thing ever. It's a heavy, substantial bottle. I bought it for my husband. He hasn't seen this yet, and I think he's going to think it's tacky, but I'm going to make him wear it. And so anyway, she described this as like a super rugged, leather, earthy fragrance. So this is a really, I don't know if it's incense or some kind of smoky accord, a heavy smoky accord with leather. There may be some aromatic notes in the background. There's something that is green and maybe slightly herbally as well, but it's a heavy, smoky, leather, earthy, rugged fragrance, a little bit dirty smelling, and I like that. I don't know that I would want to smell like this. This is probably too rugged for even my taste, but I think it would smell really fantastic on my husband. It smells super high quality, really nice. Also from Lattafa is Opulent Musk. This has saffron at the top. There's a citrus note, like a lemon, a slight lemon at the top as well, but mostly like a heavy saffron. And it has, it's like a cousin. It doesn't smell like it, but a cousin to Baccarat Rouge 540. There's some similarities, but I wouldn't say that one is a dupe for the other. It's musky and it's woody in the base. I think there's some florals in here as well, but saffron and musk are what come out the most. It is very opulent. You spray this on, it's a powerhouse of a fragrance, and it smells really luxurious. It's like this deep, enveloping, thick smell that just surrounds you so nicely, but it's not overpowering at the same time if you only spray a little bit. I happen to spray one little spritz on my hand in the evening, and it lasted till the next morning, even through like me washing my hands and everything. Beautiful, and I like the bottle too. Quite a bargain. I want to say I paid, I don't know, somewhere between 40 and 60 for this one. Opulent Musk. Yes, this is a thumbs. I finally got my hands on Honey Oud from Montale. This has been hyped up a lot here on YouTube by some really trusted folks, and they didn't lead me astray. I love the bottle. What a great color for the season. This like orangey gold color. So fun. I will just say I really hate these little dangly things on the Montale bottles, and I hate that the Montale bottles feel so light. The way that I would describe this fragrance is like if you took cinnamon crunch cereal, crushed it down, and added in some oat base, like an oat brand cereal, crushed that down too. You know that smell that it gives you? Like crushed wheat, plus the sugar, plus the cinnamon. It's like all of that together in one, with more cinnamon sprinkled on top. A really clean, fabulous cinnamon. Excellent for fall weather, for winter weather. Excellent for the holidays. It's spicy in a great way, and it's got the sweetness in it also. So it's sweet and cinnamony and smells like crushed cereal, and that's a great smell. I'm not a cereal eater. I never ate cereal. Did you eat cereal as a child? As a child, I always had, this wasn't the best breakfast either, but toast with butter and chocolate milk with Nestle chocolate powder mixed in. Whole milk. That was my breakfast every morning for many, many years. And sometimes it was just the milk because kids are fussy and I just didn't want to eat breakfast. So I would at least have a glass of milk with Nesquik. How did I get into that? I don't know. But cereal, I never ate cereal, but I remember what it smelled like from people that ate it around me. So Honey Oud from Montale, thumbs up on this one, really quite nice. I also finally picked up Atara from Malul. I like the bottle, it's different. It's clear here and it has the design on the back there. And it looks like that with the, wooden looking cap. What I get out of this fragrance, it's not what I was expecting because this was super hyped up. I still like it. I still like it. This is almost like a super intense version, like an extra strength version of the only one, in the sense that it's heavily fruity at the top. I get grapefruit right away, like this really tart, citrusy grapefruit is what comes to mind. And then there are other notes that come into play, other tart notes. Perhaps there's some rhubarb in here or something like that. I'm not a big fan of rhubarb, but whatever's happening in here works. It's a tart, but heavily fruity, maybe even like a musky type of accord there at the top. Fruit and musk and something else in the background. I think I'm picking up something really sweet like vanilla and tonka bean as the fruit starts to settle down. I would describe this as a very sweet and fruity fragrance. This is a like. I don't know that it's a love. It's a really nice like though. I definitely want to wear it and try it out on skin and see how it performs and all of that. Atara, Malul. We've got 5 more. I wanted to show you the box for this one because the box surprised me. I want to say I paid 60-ish for this one, but here's what I got. It's called Cuir de Orientica. Cuir de Orientica. And it came in this amazing coffret.
get the bottle out.
So here's the bottle. What I get from this fragrance, I haven't tried this on skin. I sprayed it in the coffret probably 5 hours ago, and I still smell it super strong. This smells to me like you got into a brand new vehicle with the poshest leather seats, and someone was smoking a really nice cigar in there. Like all of that mixed together. It's not smoky in the sense that you feel like you walked into the cloud of smoke. It's like the cigar smell, right? That once someone has smoked a cigar in a space and that smell seeps into like the fabric, that mixed with a really beautiful new leather car smell mixed together. This is some sophisticated stuff right here. Absolutely gorgeous, especially for the price I paid. Outrageous. The bottle's gorgeous. The scent is beautiful. Yeah, smells really, really, really fantastic. This is definitely a winner. It's a masculine fragrance, one that I think is going to smell fantastic on my husband and on me when I want to smell authoritative, powerful. This is a bad babe scent. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you how I learned about Orientica. There's a gentleman that I follow on Instagram. I think he goes by Rare Find Frags. And he mentioned Amber Rouge, which is, guess what it's a dupe for? Shocker! BR540. Well, I don't know that it's a dupe for that, but it certainly smells a lot like that. And he described it as a little bit more masculine leaning than BR540, and I think that's right. This fragrance is fantastic. This is a bottle that is so tacky that it's beautiful. You know how I have that, all those bottles like that, right? That they're so gaudy that I love them. They end up being hideously gorgeous or gorgeously hideous, one or the other. This is one like that. It's like a cage surrounding the glass bottle with the red juice inside. And yeah, it is almost a spot-on dupe for BR540 with a masculine lean on it. Really gorgeous. My husband loves this on me. In fact, he loved this more than the next one that I'm going to describe. I like the next one more. But this is a winner. It was super long lasting. I sprayed it on my hand. It lasted the whole night. And I think this was in the $60 to $70 range. Run out and grab this. I also ordered like a sister to the Amber Rouge that I think I like even more. And it's Royal Amber. So same idea, except the juice is clear in here. This smells like one of the most glorious floral, slightly like melony. There's like a melon accord in here. Oh, this is just gorgeous. There's something super sweet in here too, like maybe a light version of a marshmallow note or something fluffy and powdery. But a beautiful floral with melon is what I get out of here. I sprayed this on and felt like $1,000,000. This is the fragrance that's perfectly in between the young, flirty fragrances of today that young ladies like to wear and the more mature fragrances that our moms and aunts and grandmas wore. It's right in between. It's like the perfect balance of both of those into a very, very sophisticated, very elegant fragrance. Ugh. Love this. You can't go wrong with either one of these, but if you're not a BR540 fan, try this one. Royal Amber. Awesome. So we have just 2 more to go, and the next one no one has talked about. No one. I haven't heard anyone mention this. It's one that I had a little mini of many years ago and regretted not buying a full bottle then because it's discontinued. The male version of this, I believe, is still made by Aramis. It's Havana Por Elle. Havana Por Elle. Now you can see how old this is. Everything's scratched off. This fragrance is kind of stinky, but I like it. It smells, even though tobacco is not a note, that's what I get out of here. A cleaner tobacco. Like some of the tobaccos that I talk about smell wet. Like Cuir Cuba smells like a wet tobacco. This one smells like dried tobacco. I live in Southern Virginia where there are a lot of tobacco farms and smoke houses where they smoke out the tobacco, Do they smoke it out or they dry it out or whatever process they use to cure the tobacco? And it's that dry tobacco smell in the air when you pass by those tobacco farms. It's that, and maybe something ambery in here as well. A touch of leather. Perhaps there's some civet, like a little light animalic touch here. Now, when you look up the notes on this, it gives you fruity notes. It tells you that you have melon and I don't even remember, cantaloupe maybe, some other fruit notes at the top. I don't get fruitiness out of this at all. I get pure tobacco, amber, something resinous, maybe even a touch of like a honey smell in there. Yeah. Something earthy. Havana Por Elle. It's one that I'm going to have to wear sparingly because it is really strong and overpowering. My husband didn't like this at all. He thought it was just too much. And I just have like this nostalgic attachment to it. So Havana Por Elle. And the last fragrance was an early Christmas present from me to my husband. You may recall in a previous haul video that I talked about Scents of Wood, the company Scents of Wood. I tried out Plum in Cognac. I tried out Oud in Bourbon and Cedar in Acacia, and I love them all. They're beautiful. I ended up purchasing, because the company was having a good sale, Sandalwood in Oak and Cedar in Acacia, which are beautiful, but I talked about these in the previous haul. I ended up getting another fragrance from them, and I did a master class with Scents of Wood and completely fell in love with Oak in Oak. You guys, if you like the smell of anything woody, this is that times 1,000. My husband turns wood and he makes bowls and so forth as a hobby, and he works a lot with oak. So when he's turning, and what I mean by turning, it's like a machine that helps you sculpt the wood. When he's turning bowls and pepper mills and things like that, the smell that comes from the shavings of the oak as it's getting whittled down is what this smells like. And the smell when I stick my face in the bowl after he's made it, that fresh, beautiful smell of oak that has been freshly cut or worked with. It is spectacular. The company soaks the alcohols that they use for the fragrances in barrels like you would with wine, right? And so you get that like a little hint of smokiness from inside the barrel because you have to char the inside of the barrel. There's something sweet in here too, a little bit resinous, but mostly that beautiful, freshly shaven, freshly worked with oak smell. This is worth every penny. Beast mode. My husband sprays this on. He comes downstairs. I work across the hall from him. I can smell him across the hall. He doesn't spray a lot. He'll spray 2 or 3 sprays. This is also one that I love to wear also, but it smells so wonderful on him. I gifted it to him, and I'll be sneaking a few sprays here and there as well. If you haven't checked out Scents of Wood, please do so. Fabulous company, great owner, wonderful concept. And if you like those like earthy, woody fragrances, they're all fantastic. You can't go wrong with any one of them. Plum and Cognac is also wonderful, one that's a little bit more feminine. But the whole line of them, they have a leather in Bourbon, I think it is. That is a favorite of mine too. I plan to buy a full bottle. So that's my haul. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and playing show and tell here as we head into the holiday season. I would tell you that I'm going to slow down, but I think things are probably going to get worse till about Christmas. There's going to be a buying frenzy with blaming it on the holidays. And I'm going to enjoy every second of it. And I hope that you get to indulge in a little bit of shopping also. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, friends.